Morning, friends. Quakers make very good listeners. And in our quiet group in the chapel, we finish our usual silence with a kind of a go round, an afterword. And I hold the space, which is different from a normal Quaker meeting. I hold the space and I speak each person's name in turn. We tend to have fewer than 10 people there. And as I go around and I ask them, how was the silence for you today? Whatever. I've already primed the group to listen deeply. And this metaphor of the lake and throwing the pebble in, I encourage them to not all throw their pebbles in at the same time, but also to be the lake in absorbing, noticing that that pebble will be absorbed into the lake and allow it to sink, allow it to just settle. So we're encouraging people to really deeply listen. And of course, after 20 minutes or so quiet of worship together in a group, as any of you will know, it gets to that moment where you really don't want to break the silence. But I do anyway. And usually I say something like, holding this silence, let's listen to each one of us now in turn. So I've primed them for listening. And most of the time, somebody will say something and I'll pass on, and almost everybody will say something. And of course, there are some people who are not used to being listened to deeply. And there's a verbosity, there's a talkativeness. Some people can't stop themselves from talking, and they know this very often, and they feel very apologetic about it. But when they have the floor, they don't quite know how to stop. And I've come across this in many situations, in Quaker meetings as well, especially in home groups when you're in a small group. People who are new to being listened to tend to talk and talk and talk like they're getting years of stuff off their chest. So I do often spend a lot of time offering to speak to people one to one and following up with people and just listening, trying to really understand what is that energy that's feeding this deep need to talk and share and get this out. And slowly but surely, it does work. It does help people to feel deeply listened to. And one of the men spoke about that today. The listening, the quality of the listening is special. And I hope the Quakers are aware of our gift in that and to give that gift freely. Because I've seen it work, that people gradually have less and less need to talk as much. And the man in the group at the moment who is in that situation, what's interesting is that the group can see that this is somebody with a huge need to speak. And they know him from the wings anyway. They've known him for years. But because I'm spending a fair bit of time simply listening, we're getting to some quite core stuff for him. So he's becoming quite tearful now, gets quite quickly to the shame and the regrets and the difficulties. So that when he's in the group, although I let him talk for longer than other people usually talk, you can see there's a willingness of the group, even though this is socially quite awkward. It's a bit longer than we want somebody to speak in a group. Everybody's so charitable, so generous with their time. So together as a group, we learn, let's listen. Let's listen a bit more and a bit more. And then we just gently guide back to the group and involve and distract. And so it's a very gentle kind of letting down of that talk. And it works. And he keeps coming back because it's an absolute joy to him, I think, to be really heard for once.